Well, hi, internet folks. This is Scal DM Cobb 37 with another DH&T. Except for I should change it to driving away from home and thinking. Anyway, no. Today is Friday, October 2nd, 2020. And this DH&T will be about the finale of the Agile Epics story. Where to begin? So we didn't play for 2 weeks, and then during the week that we didn't play, we had a conversation. There was me and some of the other players, not every single player, and the gist of it was, where do we want to go after this story is over? Because I had told them that it was close, and we would be wrapping up soon, so we should give consideration to what we want to do. And my questions were more based on, do you want to play in a different genre? Do you want to keep playing D&D? Do you want to use a different rule set? Are there any player questions, as in, do we want players who weren't playing anymore to rejoin? Were there players that were playing currently that would anyone not want to see them keep going? So everything was on the table. It was not recorded because I wanted everyone to be able to say whatever they wanted. And there wasn't really any like bad mouthing anyone. There were just concerns and reasons and things. So what was basically decided with the people that were able to make it to this online confab was that they enjoyed the setting that I tend to run, which is the late medieval period, right before firearms. Then add sprinkle in a little fantasy. They always say that they want more magic, but they never quite understand that if they have magic, then so do the bad guys, so everything equals. So they were saying, how about a little more magic? And I was like, okay. Even though in this campaign there was artifacts that almost every single person had an artifact. So that is one of those points that players have always brought up, and then they're never satiated by the magic. And the part of the reason that I don't run a high magic campaign is that when I first started, like a lot of players or gamers, the first campaigns were run using the rules right out of the book, where there was always a treasure type. And so every time you defeated something, you got a reward. And so by the time we were done playing, there were characters that had +7 armor, +7 weapons, all of the spells in the printed material, multiple familiars, and I remember thinking to myself, how is this like Excalibur? Because I remember I really loved Excalibur, the movie, and the story, of course. And I compared the two, and I just liked the scarcity of magic, because to me, it gave it more a feel where the common man was like, either it's not real or, oh my God, it's magic and this is evil. So that is what I gravitate towards. That's what to me is more fun. And I like, to me, that's what's more fun. So as a DM, if you play in a style of game, or if you run a style of game that you don't enjoy, that makes zero sense. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy a high level Magic, but as I said, and this campaign, it definitely showed, even though I don't think the players realized it, which was as they got more powerful, so did their challengers. So it just became where the fights became longer because it took longer to wear down your opponent. And every once in a while, something cool would happen. But what I seem to remember more than like the cool magic items are the cool rolls, and then what that led to. So that's all a matter of taste. There is no right or wrong answer, because the only right or wrong answer is, are you having fun? If you're not, then obviously you're in the wrong game or with the wrong people. That's the only right or wrong answer. Everything else, it's like food. I don't like liver, but if someone likes liver and I'm like, well, that's wrong. Is it though? I mean, because I'm not the one eating it. So, makes no sense to me, but there's people in real life who, when you don't believe like they do, they think you're a lesser person. So let that just sit there. Okay. So, then we talked about what players would be participating and what the makeup of the characters would be. And at first they all were like, well, let's just make characters, and then when they meet up, and it is what it is. And I said, okay. And then somebody said, well, why don't we know what, that way we can have a more balanced party. And they were like, okay. So there was like a half-assed discussion about classes and races. I understand there may be other discussions I'm not privy to with all that, which is fine, because I run I DM in a way where it doesn't matter what anyone plays. I know how to make things challenging and winnable with the brains involved to do it. Like, if they think that having the best fighter means that they're going to be able to win all the time, that's incorrect. They might be able to lord that over the other players, but then we get into a matter of, is this the kind of person you want to spend time with? Because if their response is, well, that's what my character would do, then as an experienced older dungeon master who understands how things work, my response would be, well, then get another character. Or you can not play. And then that's it. Then they decide if that's what they want to do. Because the enjoyment of all outweighs the enjoyment of the few, as Spock said. Anyway, so that online confab happened. Good ideas thrown out, and opinions and blah blah, and I thought it was constructive. And so we've got a baseline, or not a baseline, an outline of the way things are going to go. I have no timetable on starting up a new story, so I will be able to take my time. The only thing that I'm going to ask for is, I'm going to remind them, if you don't have any written background, then I am able to make your background for you in whatever way I see fit. And the more detailed background you put in, the more of that I will use in the backstory of the overall campaign. And if your response to that would be, well, then that just favors the people that write, then I would say, yeah, okay, you got me. And then, of course, then they would have the option to be like, well, fuck it. Why would I play in a game where I can't write? Yeah, okay. Then you got to get back to, well, that's what makes me happy. So since I'm the guy running the thing, there you go. Okay, but anyway, or if they say, well, nope, you can make my background whatever you want, then that's what I'll do. And usually I'll make it to where you get fucked over because it's more fun. Okay, so on to the finale. So I'm recording this as I'm going to get the kids. It's 3 o'clock. The finale's set to premiere at, I think, 6:45 Central Time. Even though it's on my YouTube uploader program, I picked my local time, Central, 4:45. But it usually starts 2 hours later. So I'll find out, because I actually set a reminder, or not a reminder, like a notification to let me know when it premieres. Thing that's funny about it is nobody watches the videos except for a couple people. So the premiere literally means nothing, but it's just fun. And, you know, why not have fun? Okay. So, how do I not spoil? Well, okay, so you know it's the finale. So the thing could have ended great, terrible, or somewhere in between. I can tell you where we picked up from last game. We were in the middle of a fight in the Great Hall of the Lord of Newstone. And the dragon was there, and all the characters were there, and some of the characters had went into the concealed tunnel behind the Lord's table, and some remained out, and there was character conflict, and not all the players showed up, so I had to do them as NPCs. And I can tell you, after the game was over, all those questions were resolved. If you've heard me talk about the story before, you've heard me say that I wonder if I have given enough information for the characters to make informed, or for the players to have their characters make informed decisions about where this is going and the possible consequences of their actions. So the only thing that I can say is that, and I was thinking about this as I was leaving work, it's almost like they railroaded me into ending the story the way it did, because they never took any of the options, at least the ones that I thought would have been obvious. So but here's the creme de la creme, the cherry on the top. When the end came, they seemed to enjoy it. So if you are taking time to play in a make-believe world and you have fun, then you have succeeded, period. So that's pretty much that. I don't know when I'll be making another DH&T. I assume it'll be after we either have session zeros or the first game. But in either case, I've found that driving while going to get the kids on the Friday right after the game night is a perfect time to talk about the recent events, and they're still somewhat fresh in my mind because I'll forget things because I've always been that way. And even though I'll take notes, I don't have notes in the car. So, and you're not supposed to read while you're driving anyway. So anyway, and no one else is around, and the lighting's fairly decent. So, I got this idea from someone else who was making YouTube videos that I was watching for a while, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool, because he would like drive to work, and then right when he would park, the video would be over. So I was like, hey, that's cool. So other than that, I think that's all I have. And then I let them ask me some questions to help clarify how the story like chronologically broke down, and maybe why something was the way it was. So I was able to answer those questions at the end of the session. Now I will say that Destiny and Chris were not there, so Chris did not take part in the previous game either, or the question and answer confab that we had last week. So he got married, and I didn't know he would be away on his honeymoon. If he told me, I forgot. If he didn't tell me, I guess, I left last week off hoping he would be back in town, but hopefully he had a good time, and that's that. So anyway, so then at the end of the game, that's when we did the question and answer thing, and so you might want to stick around for that. But I think everyone had fun, and there you go. So if you have any comments or any other critiques, put them down in the comment section, and smash that like button so I know one other person might have watched this. And if you really like listening to a Midwestern Missouri nerd, old grognard playing D&D guy, talking about his own individual game as if it matters, then hit that subscribe button. We got a new subscriber. We're up to 53. Yay. And no, I still don't monetize my videos because I like to be able to play whatever music I want. This last video I got a copyright thing, and they're like, well, we're not penalizing you, you just can't monetize it. And I was like, that's cool. I got enough money. Oh, all right. So other than that, I hope to see you all around the gaming table, and roll them 20s. Kring!